Am I the a-hole for refusing to leave the apartment with the baby every time my husband has a Zoom meeting? Am I the a-hole for telling my aunt to flash those tits for a family group photo? Am I the a-hole I told wife that her demand makes no sense? Am I the a-hole for refusing to leave the apartment with the baby every time my husband has a Zoom meeting? This is an ongoing conflict that I'm dealing with right now. I used to be a blogger but stopped and became a stay-at-home mom when my 7 months old son was born. My husband started working from home right after he got promoted as a team leader in his department. He takes his new position seriously, and his meetings require complete silence as he said it'd be incredibly unprofessional for his team to hear any noise of any sort, but the problem is, with a 7 months old in the apartment, complete silence is almost impossible to achieve. He came up with a suggestion for me to take my son and leave the entire apartment whenever he has a meeting, to which I replied that it was illogical and suggested he either takes the bedroom or the other room and shut the door. But he explained that our son's crying or any other noise he makes get through every wall, and again, it'd be unprofessional for his team to hear baby crying in the background like he was streaming the meeting from some daycare, and insisted this is the perfect solution, but I said no, and told him he was being unreasonable to expect me to just up and go with the baby every time he has a 5 hour long Zoom meeting, which can happen twice in one day, and be gone till he gives me the green light to return home. I made him pissed, and it escalated to him shouting, "Cooperation and respect is what you should be offering right now." I argued that if roles were reversed, I'd never make such ridiculous requests, and he said, "Great, then why don't you go back to work and bring actual earnings instead of some social media likes? You, big blogger." That really hurt a lot. He then proceeded to call me stubborn and selfish, trying to sabotage his new position out of pure jealousy and nothing more. I consulted my friends and they were divided. One of them said, "This is my apartment too, and shouldn't be expected to leave," and the other said, "I should comply and do whatever I can to support my husband so he could support me and my son." Am I the a-hole for telling my aunt to flash those tits for a family group photo? Okay, so first, this is a throwaway account. Writing on a cell phone, English isn't my first language. Also, want to say, I don't think or feel I am the a-hole here, but considering my mother's reaction, I want it up for judgment. So background first. I am what you can call fat. Working on it, but still a long way to go. I've always been large and I've always had what you call a baby face. It's something I've been bullied for growing up, so it's a sensitive topic in general. My aunt is an individual who likes to get her way. If she doesn't, she will push until it goes her way. She is also the kind of person who likes jokes on others' expense, but never her own. If someone would joke about her, she will be sulky or tell them off. I am not fond of her due to be a target of her many jokes over the years, mainly for being big. Now to the event itself. We were celebrating my grandmother's birthday this weekend. Everyone vaccinated, DW, and all my cousins, not her children, uncles, aunts, and their spouses were there. My aunt was hosting. Everyone except my sister who just last week had a baby. She had an infection, and with the RS virus and COVID, she was still at the hospital and could not attend, which is a shame because my nephew was the first great-grandchild. So it was decided we would send her a copy of our yearly family photo. When we were setting up the shoot, my aunt said she had planned something. She comes out with a big toddler cap and a pacifier, saying that I should wear it and use the pacifier sitting in the front as a fun gesture to my sister. I was pretty horrified and said, "No way." My aunt just replied, "Yes, you will. It will be fun." When I said no a second time, this time with emphasis, she raised her voice saying, "Don't be difficult, OP. Come on, put it on." My mother just sighed and said to just indulge her, knowing my aunt will push until I do. Well, here's the thing. I don't know what I was thinking, but I said, okay, I'll do it if you go topless and pretend to breastfeed me. Everyone went quiet. My aunt's eyes went wide and just said, "Excuse me?" in a very offended tone. I followed up with a, "Come on, flash those tits." And all hell broke loose. My cousins giggling, my mother and aunt stood choking with their mouths open. My aunt's husband shouted out, "What the F did you just said to my wife? Get the F out of my house." More than happy to comply, I took my car keys and left, accidentally leaving my parents to a $60 cab bill since I was their Lyft. When my mom and that came home, my mom was furious and said she had never been more embarrassed and I needed to apologize. Which I just shook my head and saying I won't. She deserved it, in my opinion. She grounded me, not that she can since I am 18 plus, and have not spoken to me since. My aunt also kicked me out of our WhatsApp group and Facebook group, so I need outside perspective on things. So there you have it. Am I the a-hole for telling my aunt to flash her tits? Am I the a-hole I told wife that her demand makes no sense? My wife is a stay-at-home mom. She manages everything at home and I truly am grateful for everything that she does for the home and our family. I try to give her as much break as possible by doing the childcare after coming home. Sharing chores, she has off days. She can take sick leaves every weekend, I do all the childcare, etc. Today she told me she feels unappreciated and that her work around the house is not considered a full-time job. I reassured her that it is definitely a full-time job according to me, and I am grateful for everything that she does around the house. However, she was not convinced and said that she should get a salary just like I do at my work. Me. Who owes you the salary? She. You, of course, because you are technically my employer. Me. Okay, so after I give you your salary, where will the money go to since we have pooled finances? She. Our joint account? Me. Yeah, exactly. So what is even the point of me giving you a salary if it's going to be in the joint account anyways, and you still have full access to the joint account money? All income is family money, so it makes no sense for you to get a salary if it's going to belong to the entire family anyway. She huffed and went back into the room saying that my thinking is flawed. Am I the a-hole?